it's crazy. And the human being needs to be respected in that, in the sense that how am I going to find this thing that I'm looking for that I don't know what it is?
It is actually quite freeing to look at it in that way.
You better listen. So that has happened, and that does happen.
So our topic for tonight is living a life that benefits everyone and everything. We are going to talk about terminology like first choice self, and this is about where we automatically benefit everyone and everything. We're going to find out how that works, and we're going to explore this automatic nature of a first choice existence, and where we can live our meaning and our integrity. And at our previous open discussion, we spoke about the second choice life, which serves no one, not even ourselves. So yes, hold on to your Alice bands. And over to you, Emmanuel.
Linda, thank you for that short but fabulous introduction. So I want to just start by setting a scene at a higher level before we start with the presentation. Now, I'm probably going to say this ad nauseum, but a discovery in my own life, through searching and searching and searching and going down various paths, I concluded that a thing like a second choice life and a first choice life exists, or a first choice self and a second choice self, that concept exists. And I feel I'm about 1% correct when I say that. And I'm going to profess that until somebody tells me, Emmanuel, you are highly, highly mistaken. And I put down everything that in humanity we are doing to ourselves and to others and to nature is because of that 1%. Which is the difference between the second and the first choice self. Now, in the previous discussion, the topic was that from our second choice self, it benefits no one, no thing, and also not even ourselves. Now, tonight, we are going to be talking about, as a first choice life, we automatically benefit everyone and everything. And of course, all of this starts, which is quite beautiful, with ourselves. If we set our lives on a path of the first choice self, we have got no option other than to benefit everyone and everything. It's not a conscious thing that I need to do. It is what I am. It is what I'm the source of. So the presentation tonight is about introducing the first choice self. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 focus areas, what we would then experience by living our first choice self. And it's not a step-by-step thing. It is something that I see my second choice self, I see the birth of it, I then say no more. and I have the courage and I have the honesty and I make the step change and I then live differently. And we are going to cover those 5 focus areas. We could, of course, cover less or more, but these are the prominent areas. Okay, so my stance is, and this is why peace evolution exists. My stance is that the discovery of the first and the second choice self and how that came about, I would like to share with as many people as I'm able to, and on my own, I'm not able to do that. First of all, I haven't got all the skills, I haven't got all the talents, I haven't got the temperament to be everything. So I understand that my limit is in the context of this hand, maybe just this thumb, or maybe just this bend in this thumb. But I do know that when this finger and all its operability is here, and the palm and how this hand works, that we could do far more than the parts of this hand. So see me just as that little bend there. And I notice, okay, but wait, I don't want to do this journey on my own. I'd much, much, much rather have the whole of the hand in my example now. And so the premise is that if I am me, I haven't got a choice other than to serve myself and everyone and everything. It's not a choice. It is a matter of automatically that happens. So what we've got, what we had on the screen a little while ago was that, I'm just going to have a quick squeeze, that everyone and everything automatically benefits. Now, when in my mind's eye, I spoke about everything, I was wondering, what is this everything? And I couldn't figure out, why is the everything so important to me? So the words in my mind's eye was benefiting everyone. That I understand is me and all the other people. The outcome of the stance is that I don't have a choice to benefit everyone and everything in my behavior and in my actions, and that everyone, of course, includes me. But I had a scratching of my mind. Why do I keep on saying everything? Why do I keep on saying everything? And then I dissected the everything part of this, and it was actually quite interesting and beautiful. And maybe at some point we could have a discussion just about that one thing. Any case, instinctively, as part of this automaticness, I realized, but it has to be everything as well. We cannot live in a way where we benefit everyone and everything, but we don't take care of the environment. It means then that taking care of the environment means that I'm not going to ruin anything immediately around me. I'm not going to ruin anything in the suburb around me. I'm not going to ruin in the province, in the country, in the sea, in the mountain. I'm going to observe and appreciate that beauty and not take from it. My actions would benefit the everything. And that was quite a major breakthrough when I started building the building blocks of what that everything is. And I would like to just use a small story, Linde, of when you and I started talking this lingo. And one of us used the fisherman as the example. Surely the fisherman wouldn't be interested in what we are talking about. But the fisherman might have a dream that says, surely we can't be ruining our environment while we fish for food for whoever eats fish. So there would be some dream of that fisherman, and all these little building blocks eventually fell into place that even the fisherman would want to not ruin his environment. So that's where the everything is. And the emphasis is automatically, I don't have to drink something that morning to say, oh, I better remember about everything. It's an automatic thing. I cannot ruin anything. I would, just by being myself, automatically benefit everyone and everything. So that's the part of the story about those 3 or 4 or 5 words, everyone, everything, and automatically. Now, I just want to say before we continue, if you are enjoying this so far, please like, please subscribe, and also ring the notification bell so that you would be notified of any of our new videos. And if something in particular draws your attention or resonates with you, please write us a comment. And if there's something that you're saying, no, Emmanuel, you're talking absolute nonsense, please put that in the comment as well. Don't just say you're talking nonsense. Please give us some context of how we are talking nonsense. So we would appreciate that you like, subscribe, the notification bell, and give us some comments. Right. And that way, everyone would benefit. And of course, everything as well. So the whole idea is, by looking at this, everyone and everything automatically benefits, even yourself. That is then living inner peace inside me. I am then living my inner peace. So let me just say, I'm not doing that to get inner peace. I'm doing that from my inner peace. You could hear my excitement there. So I'm not doing things to gain anything, even inner peace. It's from my inner peace that I do those things, whatever it is that I do. Who's got a burning question, or even a comment, or if you say, no, it can't be, tell us, please tell us. In the comment section, and also now anybody who is here with us.
From my side, Emmanuel, I just want to say that it is actually quite freeing to look at it in that way, because if it's this thing that you have to gain and it doesn't just happen automatically, it's quite a heavy thing then. Where if it's something that you are, and that just comes about automatically, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
Yeah, definitely, Linde. Thank you for bringing that point. And the beauty of it is, it's just automatic.
Absolutely.
Okay. Does that mean from time to time Emmanuel needs to confront someone or something? Definitely. And mostly it is done from, and I use the word mostly, from that inner peace, so that even in the confrontation, there could be peace, inner peace. But it could also be, and this has happened to me, when the person that I'm sharing with pushes back in an unfriendly and in a defensive way. And it is then from time to time necessary for me to actually make my voice quite stern and say, no, wait, let me explain this, you better listen. So that has happened, and that does happen. Okay, thank you very much, Linda. So there we have this other principle that says the first choice self is always there. It's not hidden or anything. It's just been smothered. And it's just been forced to take a back seat. Because at some point in our lives, and let me just read that sentence, you recognize how you created your factor X and your second choice self. Now, the term factor X is a collective way of describing person A might at some point have given up on themselves by saying, oh, I'm not worthy. Another person might have come to a conclusion, oh, I'm worthless. Another person could have come to a conclusion that I don't belong here. Another person could have come to a conclusion that they are, an example is maybe that they don't feel there's space for them. Okay, so instead of saying all those things every time, I coined the phrase factor X. And of course, in the book, Life Can Be Different Conception, I have a whole section of how factor X was born. I'm talking of my life, how in my life factor X was born, how that came about. Okay, so the factor X is the thing that follows something in our inside ourselves that says, oh my goodness me, I'm just going to use this phrase loosely. I'm not worthy. And in that moment, when the pressure, and this could happen from 3 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, 2 years old, let's not put an age to it. I feel I'm not worthy, as an example. And this has happened so many times that the next once that it happens, I break. And I then create what I call the factor X. So just to take it slowly, we know that story about the camel, the last straw that broke the camel's back. Let's not break any camels, but with the pressure that I encounter, it does not matter what age you are when this happens, because of all the behavior that you picked up around you, and you feel eventually there's got to be something wrong with me. That something wrong with me is I feel I'm unworthy. And I'm just giving an example. And at that very moment, factor X is born. And of course, the first choice self recognizes how that birth happened. exactly how that birth happened. Now, the first choice self is way somewhere in the story, but it is continuously suppressed by the consequence of factor X, which I spoke about. I'm just going to mention it again, and if you want to re-listen to it, just watch the video where we speak about that. Now, the fact is, where the second choice self is born, of course, then after that, everything else goes haywire in my life. And although the first choice self is very close there to the surface, it's always suppressed by the dominance of me as the second choice self now wanting to prove that I am worthy. So I now, and at the birth of factor X, from then onwards, I want to then prove that I am worthy. What we then say is that pressure that created the factor X is a figment of our imagination. And when the first choice self sees that, it says, it's not true. It's not that I'm not worthy. I'm absolutely worthy. I'm perfect. There's nothing wrong with me. But the pressure made me believe that. Now, you can say to me, come on, a child of 3 years old can't feel the pressure. But if it's not taken care of, and it's crying for attention, or the toddler's running in the house like Emmanuel, up and down, driving everybody crazy, I'm wanting attention, because if I get attention, it would mean I'm somebody, or it would mean I'm not worthy, unworthy, I'm worthy. So whatever our factor X is, that then happens. Now, fortunately, it's a figment of our imagination. And we create it. And the first choice self, thank you, Linda, is able to recognize this, that factor X is not reality. It's something that I created. So I'm now speaking in first person. I created that. It is not a truth about me. It's a figment about my imagination. Of my imagination. Now, if we take it a step further, why I say it's beautiful, now look at what it says there. You recognize, because it's a figment of my imagination that I created, the beauty of it is I'm able to uncreate it. In that context, then, I created it. The beauty of it is I could uncreate it. If I was born that I'm unworthy, then I can't fix it. If my parent, who maybe enforce certain routine and dogma and certain standards and norms on me, and they created it inside me, I'm then beholden to them. But the beauty of it is I created it, which then means I'm also able to uncreate it, flip it back. Any comments, any questions, any saying, no, this is crazy? And if you've got anything, please comment it in the comments below. Either that you agree with us, you find this fascinating, whatever you want to say, or no, Emmanuel, this is absolutely not possible, that the problem is so simple for humanity's inner peace. Any questions for people here?
Emmanuel, would I be correct in saying that in a sense, we our factor X is kind of like a untrue belief that we take on, that we think is true, and then we spend our whole lives trying to prove that it's not true. So it's a thing that we internalize.
So yes, Linda, the question, as I understood it, it's a belief that I took on, and consequent to that, my life then consists of only one thing, and that one thing is to disprove that belief. Okay, and the in peace evolution, the idea is let's expose that to humanity and give everybody a chance to uncreate that belief. Now, the consequence of me wanting to disprove it, so please look at this dynamic now. Here I am, I give birth to my factor X, I then live to disprove my factor X, and therefore people don't know how to make decisions because they're trapped. If they make a decision this way, it might prove that there is something wrong with them. So they have to labor every decision they make. They also yearn for a different life. They don't know why they yearn for a different life, but they yearn for a different life. There is also another side to it, because in that moment they walked away, so to speak, from their own lives, which means they always feel something is missing. Now, we do all sorts of external things like a new car, a new partner, a new job, a new furniture, a new this, a new that, in a way to fill that void, but those things can't fill that void. It's not possible to fill that void. And then part of what we do here at Peace Evolution is then to show the dynamic of why I'm yearning for a different life. And remember, those words come out of my mouth of how it felt for me. It didn't have any meaning what I was doing, and I continuously felt something was missing. And what is missing? I found that I was missing in my life. And what was in my place, living my life, was my fear that I am unworthy, that I am what my factor X depicts I am. That's the fear that I'm then constantly wanting to disprove. So my mind goes crazy in every minute. And you can look back at history about the atrocities that people have done out of that fear, and then consequent to that wanting to prove. And it's just down to this one very simple thing. Now, there it says you address the root cause. So what we are then armed with, and just by the way, part of Peace Evolution is not just talking about this. We are busy feverishly in the background also developing a course where anybody who wants to find this out for themselves and go through a course and air their questions about, no, Emmanuel, help me understand this, or Linda, please help me understand that. We would, in that course, assist anyone who would like to walk this journey for themselves. And we don't know. We keep on saying it's going to be ready in a month or in 2 or 3. It keeps on running away from us. But at some point we will have caught it, and then we would inform you that that course exists. Now, you might want to write in the comments to say, oh, no, I don't want to take a course. Or, yes, let me know about when this course is available. And, of course, we are going to let you know. And all you really have to do is like and subscribe to the channel and put those comments in. And we would put you on our, let's say, early adopter list to say, okay, the course is now ready. So to cut a long story short, the interesting thing is that it is possible for us to recognize the root cause. But please, I'm not talking of a symptom. It's very, very important that I convey this message. One of my talents and skills and temperaments is that from a fairly early age, I wanted nothing to do with symptoms. It drove me nuts, but I could not listen to people who want to put a plaster on something. In my day job, I would get work that other people attempted to put the plaster on. And of course, it keeps on coming back in the same or different guises. And then out of desperation, they would hear, oh, Emmanuel would fix it. Just give him a shot. And I was very, very fortunate that somebody noticed that in me. I want to say before I noticed it in myself, I didn't realize that I had that ability. But in my introspection in my life, I asked, why did that manager always send me to problem areas? And then I figured out why. I would always just go for the root cause. So there were two things: go for the root cause, and the problem was usually the pressure on the human being. And I would then go and protect the bullies from those who are being bullied. So remember, the stakeholder in a business always wants time and money to go smoothly. And now if it's not going smoothly, they think by forcing it's going to go smoothly. I want to give an analogy. If I've got this beautiful rosebud and I want to see what the rose looks like, I could force it open and break the beauty of the rosebud. Now, in any product, any team that's working together, if we want to prematurely get things done quicker and for less money, of course, we are then attempting to force that rosebud open and we break the beauty of it. And usually part of the thing when I arrived there was I saw from a young age, I'm not blowing my own horn, I'm just saying those are talents that I've got. I would say, wait, this is madness. We've got to demarcate, put people in different silos and let them understand what their role in that silo is then, and the respect for the human being has to always be primary. I didn't know at the time why I was doing that. I just did it. And so on and so forth. So I would come there and be this person who would just say, wait, everybody has their role. Let's give everyone a chance. And then slowly, the confidence would come back and things would settle down. And then we are on a path where we would deliver. Okay. So that in a nutshell is the root cause. You cannot fix it by treating the symptom. You could want to put more people on it. You could give bonuses to people. But as long as the pressure is there, so just as a matter of interest, sometimes we need to go for a delivery date and run hard, but it should be for short stints. And the human being needs to be respected in that, in the sense that the human being gets given the decision, let's run for it or let's not run for it. And how are we going to be compensated? No, there's no compensation. So you figure out a way, etc. So the bottom line is also within myself of how my factor X was created by me, fortunately by me, I could then also see, oh, the root cause is the continuous pressure on me in when I was crying, as an example. Remember, I'm just giving examples here now. I'm not necessarily giving my life story everywhere, but from the pressure, I eventually say, oh, there's got to be something wrong with me. That then consequently is how I create factor X. And then consequently, Linda, correctly, as you said, I then start disproving that. I get lost, and that is the root cause. And the only way to fix it is to realize that split happened. I'm calling it a split for now. That split happened, and now all I need to do is uncreate that split. So we've spoken about addressing the root cause. In my case, how this happened was I recognized my purpose. So you would recognize your purpose. In other words, if I had not created that figment of my imagination, how would my life have been? That is, I then recognize my purpose. I then craft a vision for myself where I take that seed, the purpose is a seed, like the seed of an acorn, etc. The acorn, which is a seed of an oak tree. I then recognize my purpose, which is like the seed, the acorn, and then I craft a vision, and then through that seed, I give life to my vision, and thereby I live my inner meaning. How am I going to find this thing that I'm looking for that I don't know what it is? But that gave me the ability then to say, okay, enough is enough, number one. I then figured out, well, how am I going to manifest? And how I unraveled my purpose was to look at the undercurrent of my daydreams. And again, in the book, Life Can Be Different Conception that I wrote, I cover that in a section which I call the undercurrent, or recognizing the undercurrent of daydreams. Now, inside of that, I, of course, then have the ability to bring that life that's in me that I've been suppressing all these years by disproving. I then blow that life into my vision, and that then unfolds in a life of meaning. And again, I just want to remind you, if you are enjoying this, please like and subscribe and comment anything that you find interesting. And also, we are all up for the task. If you say, this is no good, that is no good, or please elaborate on this. We'd love to hear that. Please elaborate if you want us to elaborate. Okay, so that in a nutshell is that focus point. That, and of course, that inner peace is then unfolding and evolving into that focus point.
Emmanuel, so that thing that you were looking for, but you didn't know what it was,
Yeah, it's crazy.
would you say, because I've had that same feeling in my life, and would you say that thing that we're looking for is that our purpose, is that if we can give it a description in one word?
Linde, I could say yes. But what we are looking for in essence is to be part of our life. That's really what's missing. I am missing in my life. That's really what the thing is about.
Okay, thank you.
And yes, thank you, Linda, also for the question. And in me recognizing that, I then had the space, just a glimpse, to say, oh, but wait, let's have a look at my daydreams. Oh, my daydream says, oh, wait, this. And my own daydream reflected that I would love for everyone to live their vision. That's my vision.